Welcome back to Grim Advice with Gretta Myers. You've entered the Grimoire with 2 M's. Let's turn the page together. Alright, let me slate this week for you guys, which I plan on staying up to date on. However, we'll see. And it's okay. I'm still valid, probably. Alright, so this week we have Old Hildebrand, The 3 Little Birds, The Water of Life, Dr. Know-All, and The Spirit in the Bottle. Also this week is the 100th episode, so we're planning on doing a Saturday special this week that is extra special for in celebration of this momentous occasion of having 100 almost consecutive episodes every Monday through Friday. It's been a good run and I'm excited. So we will eventually this week let you know what the plans are for that. Because right now I don't know. Hazel and I are working some things out. But yeah, exciting times. So, let's see how much we're in for. Not too much. Okay. Without further ado, Old Hildebrand. Once upon a time lived a peasant and his wife, and the parson of the village had a fancy for the wife, and had wished for a long while to spend a whole day happily with her. The peasant woman, too, was quite willing. One day, therefore, he said to the woman, "Listen, my dear friend, I have now thought of a way by which we can for once spend a whole day happily together. I'll tell you what. On Wednesday you must take to your bed and tell your husband you are ill, and if you only complain and act being ill properly, and go on doing so until Sunday when I have to preach, I will then say in my sermon that whoever has at home a sick child, a sick husband, a sick wife, a sick father, a sick mother, a sick brother, whatever else it may be, and makes a pilgrimage to the Curly Hill in Italy, where you can get a peck of laurel leaves for a cruiser, the sick child, sick husband, wife, sick father, the sick wife, the sick father, the sick mother, the sick sister, or whoever else it may be, will be restored to health immediately." "I will manage it," said the woman promptly. Now thereupon, on the Wednesday, the peasant woman took to her bed, and complained and lamented as agreed upon, and her husband did everything for her that he could think of, but nothing did her any good. And when Sunday came, the woman said, "If I feel as ill as if I were going to die at once, but there is one thing I should like to do before my end. I should like to hear the parson's sermon that he is going to preach today." At that, the peasant said, "Ah, my child, do not do it. You might make yourself worse if you were to get up. Look, I will go to this sermon, and will attend to it very carefully, and will tell you everything the parson says." "Well," said the woman, "go then, and pay great attention, and repeat to me all that you can hear." So the peasant went to the sermon, and the parson began to preach, and said, if anyone had at home a sick child, sick husband, a sick wife, a sick father, a sick mother, a sick sister, brother, or anyone else, and would make a pilgrimage to the Curly Hill in Italy, where a peck of laurel leaves costs a cruiser, the sick child, sick husband, sick wife, sick father, sick mother, sick sister, brother, or whoever else it may be, would be restored to health instantly, and whoever wished to undertake the journey was to go to him after the service was over, and he would give him the sack for the laurel leaves and the cruiser. Then no one was more rejoiced than the peasant, and after the service was over, he went at once to the parson, who gave him the bag for the laurel leaves and the cruiser. After that he went home, and even at the house door he cried, "Hurrah, dear wife! It is now almost the same thing as if you were well. The parson has preached today that whoever had at home a sick child, a sick husband, a sick wife, a sick father, a sick mother, a sick sister, brother, or whoever it might be, would make a pilgrimage to the Curly Hill in Italy, and where a peck of laurel leaves cost a cruiser, the sick child, sick husband, sick wife, sick father, sick mother, sick sister, brother, or whoever else it was, would be cured immediately. And now I have already got the bag and the cruiser from the parson, and will at once begin my journey, so that you may get well the faster." And thereupon he went away. He was, however, hardly gone before the woman got up, and the parson was there directly. But now we will leave these two for a while, and follow the peasant, who walked on quickly without stopping, in order to get the sooner to the Curly Hill, and on his way he met his gossip. His gossip was an egg merchant, and was just coming from the market where he had sold his eggs. "May you be blessed," said the gossip. Where are you off to so fast?" "To all eternity, my friend," said the peasant. "My wife is ill, and I have been today to hear the parson's sermon, and he preached that if anyone had in his house a sick child, a sick husband, a sick wife, a sick father, a sick mother, a sick sister, brother, or anyone else, and made a pilgrimage to the Gockerly Hill in Italy, where a peck of laurel leaves cost a cruiser, the sick child, the sick husband, the sick wife, the sick father, the sick mother, the sick sister, brother, or whoever else it was, would be cured immediately. And so I have got the bag for the laurel leaves and the cruiser from the parson, and now I am beginning my pilgrimage." "But listen, gossip," said the egg merchant to the peasant. "Are you then stupid enough to believe such a thing as that? Don't you know what it means? The parson wants to spend a whole day alone with your wife in peace, so he's given you this job to get out of the way." "My word," said the peasant. "How I'd like to know if that's true." "Come then," said the gossip. I'll tell you what to do. Get into my egg basket, and I will carry you home, and then you will see for yourself." So that was settled, and the gossip put the peasant into his egg basket and carried him home. When they got to the house, hurrah, but all was going merry there. The woman had already had nearly everything killed that was in the farmyard, and had made pancakes, and the parson was there, and had brought his fiddle with him. The gossip knocked at the door, and the woman asked who was there. "It is I, gossip," said the egg merchant. "Give me shelter this night. I have not sold my eggs at the market, so now I have to carry them home again. And they are so heavy that I shall never be able to do it, for it is dark already." "Indeed, my friend," said the woman, "you come at a very inconvenient time for me, but as you are here, it can't be helped. Come in and take a seat there on the bench by the stove." Then she placed the gossip in the basket, which he carried on his back, on the bench by the stove. The parson, however, and the woman were as merry as possible. At length the parson said, "Listen, my dear friend, you can sing beautifully. Sing something to me." "Oh," said the woman, "I cannot sing now. In my young days, indeed, I could sing well enough, but that's all over now." "Come," said the parson once more, "do sing some little song." At that the woman began and sang, "I've sent my husband away from me to the Gockerly Hill in Italy." Thereupon the parson sang, "I wish 'twas a year before he came back. I'd never ask him for the laurel leaf sack. Hallelujah." Then the gossip, who was in the background, began to sing, "But I ought to tell you that the peasant was called Hildebrand." So the gossip sang, "What are you doing, my Hildebrand dear, there on the bench by the stove so near?" Hallelujah. Then the peasant sang from the basket, "All singing I ever shall hate from this day, and here in this basket no longer I'll stay." Hallelujah. And he got out of the basket and cudgeled the parson out of the house. Goodness. That was wow. All right. We finally get a character name for an important character in the story. The peasant was named Hildebrand. It said Old Hildebrand in the title, so like, how old is this guy? How young is the wife? How old is the parson? I don't know. I can't tell you that. And like, old could also just mean wise, faithful, whatever. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're old. I'll also remind you that this is Germany, a long, long time ago, back when, things were not good and healthcare was bad. So old could have meant like 40s. Yeah. Anyways. Okay. First off, I'm sorry for the rocking every time. It's like sick mother, sick father, sick ugh. Because I'm trying so hard to pronounce the sick. It was hard. Especially because every time they repeated it, and I don't know why. They had to be like, and sick mother, and sick father, and like every single time, instead of just being like, if you have anyone sick. No, they had to say it every single time, and then they did, and then they did. I don't know if I was pronouncing the name of the hill right. In case you were wondering, it was G-O with the 2 dots over it, C-K-E-R-L-I. I don't know how to pronounce that, and so I picked one and stuck with it. Consistency is important. Okay. So this one was a little sketchy. Not my favorite. However, I think here's the point I want to make. Let me verify that I am not lying to you. It didn't, okay. It doesn't necessarily that they wanted to, like, the parson and the wife wanted to, things did not happen. It just said that they were happy and they, right? This is a hard one. Okay. On the one hand, nothing too bad happened, right? Nothing too bad, trademarked, happened. So, like, what's the harm? We'll get to there in a second. On the other hand, like, she's married. He's like a priest. It's kind of big frowned upon. Like, I really just don't know what to say there other than that. Yes, nothing too bad, trademark, happened. However, that doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't still wrong. But then again, it doesn't go into detail what happened that day or the nature of their relationship. So all that aside, we don't know what happened. We don't know how innocent it was or whatever. The important thing is they lied to the husband, the peasant. They lied to Hildebrand. Gosh darn. I think that's where the problem lies. Like, having friends of the opposite gender or within your sexuality and while you're in a committed relationship, that's between... No, here's the thing. If, like, that's up to that relationship. Like, if you're okay with it, as long as it's not a problem, great. If you decide later, hey, can we, like, be more us and less them, because it's, like, concerning and stuff, that's also valid. Like, it's up to each committed relationship to decide friendships out of that relationship and other relations outside that relationship. That's up for them. And what's okay and what's not. Like, I'm not going to say and tell you, like, a fast standard for this. However, I'm going to tell you what was wrong was going behind the husband's back about it. That's the point where it does not matter how innocent or platonic that relationship was. That's when it became a problem, is when they're like, well, we gotta get the husband out of the way so we can do this thing and then not talk to him about it. That's when it became a problem, is when they were dishonest. And sneaky, and conniving, and trickery, and all those things. Like, goodness. Yeah, I just... For shame upon you. Honestly, though, it's hard. This story is kind of a tough one to swallow, but yeah. And like at the end, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna hate singing from now on. 'Cause the wife and the parson were like, haha, look at this thing that we did. It was totally good. And then he's like, yep. And then they made a song about it. And we're like, hallelujah. No, but really, I guess bottom line I'm saying is be honest. Be upfront and honest and be like, hey, this is what's going on. And then in that committed relationship, you can be like, this is chill or this is not chill. Or, I don't know. Let's see. And if it's not chill, I'll let you know. You know, that's up for, like, every relationship to decide. And what they decide is valid, because they're valid. And I can't tell them what's right and what's wrong, because I'm not them. Just honesty. Like, it was wrong the second you felt you needed to sneak behind your husband's back about it. That, really, that's all I have to say. Alright, my gremlins. Thank you for joining us for another happily ever after, or not so happily ever after. That's up for you to decide, and your committed relationship to decide what's valid for you guys, because you're valid. You are. Either way, this is the end for this episode, so tune in later and we can learn more and turn new pages together and eventually celebrate. It might not be this Saturday, but soon there will be a Saturday special in honor and celebration of the 100th episode, and we can do that together.